You see an animal in trouble, and suddenly the whole scene becomes complicated. A turtle is halfway across the road, moving with the confidence of a small armored suitcase that has never heard of traffic. A bird has fishing line wrapped around its leg. A deer is caught in a fence. A crow is hopping strangely near a piece of plastic it cannot remove. Your first thought is simple. Help it, move closer, free it, lift it, call someone, do something before the danger gets worse. But from the animal's side, the story does not look simple at all. You are huge, you are upright, you are walking directly toward it, which in the wild is rarely a comforting gesture. You have hands, eyes, a strange smell, a voice it does not understand, and a long human-shaped shadow behind you. To your mind, you are the rescue. To its nervous system, you might be the next threat. The animal does not know your biography. It does not know that you watched one wildlife video at 2 a.m. and now feel emotionally responsible for every creature on Earth. It only knows that a large primate is approaching while it cannot escape properly. So why do some wild animals let humans help them? Why does a trapped dolphin hold still for a diver? Why might a bird stop fighting long enough for a rescuer to cut a line? Why does a whale, tangled in ropes, sometimes remain calm while tiny humans move around its body with knives? The answer is not as cute or simple as they know you are good. Sometimes the animal is exhausted. Sometimes it is frozen by fear. Sometimes it has no better option. But sometimes something more interesting seems to happen. The animal reads the situation, updates its fear, and realizes that the strange hand is not adding danger. It is removing it, that is the mystery. Wild animals are built to avoid humans, yet under the right conditions, some of them can still recognize a pattern that crosses species: slow movement, reduced pressure, pain going down, freedom coming back. They may not understand kindness the way you do, but they may understand the shape of help. Here is the reframe. The real question is not whether wild animals can feel gratitude in the human sense. That may be the wrong frame entirely. A trapped bird does not need to write a thank you note inside its head. A dolphin does not need to understand rescue as a moral category. An injured animal does not need the word kindness. What matters is whether it can read the difference between a body that increases danger and a body that makes danger decrease. For a wild animal, help is difficult to identify because help often looks terrifying at first. A human approaching means size, pressure, capture, restraint, strange touch, and no clear escape route. Those are usually bad signals, but the situation can change moment by moment. The hand does not strike. The grip loosens instead of tightens. The line around the leg stops pulling. The hook stops tearing. The rope begins to fall away. Pain changes. Movement returns. The animal's brain may not explain this with human language, but it can still update the map. This strange creature is not making the trap worse. That is why this topic is so fascinating. It sits between fear and intelligence. Wild animals are not little humans wearing feathers, fur, or fins, but they are also not empty machines. Many of them watch, learn, remember, compare, and adjust. A crow can remember a dangerous face. A dolphin can reposition its body. A whale can hold still while divers cut ropes from its skin. None of this proves that animals understand kindness exactly as you do. But it does suggest that some animals can recognize when another being is acting in a way that reduces harm. So the real question is not, do animals know you are a good person? The real question is whether they can read help as a pattern: slow approach, controlled movement, less pain, more freedom, danger going away. And sometimes, under pressure, that pattern may be enough. To understand how strange animal rescue really is, you have to remember what a human approach usually meant in the deep past. For most wild animals, a human moving closer was not a comforting signal. It meant pursuit, it meant capture, it meant hands, tools, fire, traps, nets, dogs, or a group of upright bodies changing the rules of the landscape. A healthy wild animal did not survive by waiting politely to see whether the approaching human had good intentions. It survived by leaving before the intention mattered. That is why help creates such a strange conflict. The animal may be injured, trapped, tangled, exhausted, or stuck in a place it cannot escape. Its old rule says, human coming closer means danger, but the new situation says, the danger is already here, and running may no longer work. A bird with line around its leg, a dolphin dragging a hook, a turtle in traffic, or a deer caught in fencing is not choosing between safety and a human. It is choosing between a known problem and a possible unknown one. In the ancient world, that kind of calculation mattered constantly. Animals had to read body language quickly. Is this creature stalking, attacking, ignoring, warning, feeding, fleeing, or helping? Social animals had to do this inside their own groups every day. A primate had to know whether another hand was reaching to groom or to strike. A wolf had to read whether another body was playing, threatening, or cooperating. A dolphin had to understand whether contact from another body meant support or conflict. The ability to read intention did not evolve for humans specifically, it evolved for social life. So when some wild animals let humans help them, they may be using an older skill in a stranger situation. They are not forgetting that humans are dangerous. They are testing whether this particular movement, this particular hand, this particular moment is making the crisis worse or making it end. The evidence begins with animals that do something hard to explain as simple panic. In 2010, off Kona, Hawaii, a bottlenose dolphin tangled in fishing line approached diver Keller Laros during a night dive and stayed close while the line was removed. The important detail is not that the story feels emotional. The important detail is control. The dolphin did not simply collapse. It stayed near the diver, allowed close contact, and shifted its body in ways that gave the human better access to the problem. Corvids add another layer. Crows can recognize individual human faces and spread information about dangerous people socially. That means a crow is not only reacting to human as a category, it can build a reputation file. This face was risky. This place was safe. This behavior mattered. If an animal can remember threat with that precision, it becomes more believable that it can also remember repeated non-threat or help. Primates show something similar from another angle. In experiments with capuchin monkeys, individuals avoided taking food from people they had seen behave unhelpfully toward others. In plain English, they were not only tracking what happened to themselves. They were watching social behavior and making choices based on it. That matters because help is social information. It says something about what another body is likely to do next. Then there are the dramatic marine cases, like entangled humpback whales that remain still while rescuers cut ropes from their bodies. These stories should be handled carefully because stillness can sometimes mean terror, exhaustion, or tonic immobility, a shutdown response where the body freezes under extreme stress. But when an animal adjusts, waits, returns, or behaves differently toward the individuals involved, the simple, "it was just frozen," explanation starts to feel too small. The evidence does not say every wild animal understands human kindness. It says some animals can read patterns of harm being reduced, and that may be the beginning of trust. The mechanism is a chain of updates. At first, the animal reads the human as danger. That is the safe default. A large body is approaching, hands are reaching, escape is limited. The old rule says fight, flee, freeze, or endure. But if the human moves slowly, avoids sudden pressure, keeps the body low, uses a calm voice, and focuses on the object causing harm instead of on grabbing the animal itself, the signals begin to change. The animal does not need to understand your intention in words. It only needs to track results. Is the pain getting worse or better? Is the pressure tightening or loosening? Is movement disappearing or returning? A line around a leg becomes less tight. A hook stops pulling. A net opens. A trapped body finds one more direction it can move. That information is immediate. The body can feel it before the mind can explain it. Help in animal terms may be recognized as danger decreasing. Social intelligence makes this possible. Many animals already live by reading other bodies. A crow watches faces and remembers outcomes. A dolphin reads movement and cooperation in a group. A primate judges whether another individual is helpful or harmful. These skills were not built for humans specifically, but they are flexible. When a human behaves in a way that resembles support instead of attack, some animals can apply the same social machinery to a strange species. But there is a limit. Stillness is not always trust. A frightened animal may freeze because its nervous system has run out of options. That is why real help must be careful, quiet, and fast when possible. The goal is not to make the animal love the human. The goal is to reduce harm without adding a new fear. Sometimes the animal may understand more than expected. Sometimes it may understand only one thing: the trap is ending, and for survival that may be enough. So picture a rescue from the animal's side. A young crow is on the ground near the edge of a road, one leg caught in a loop of fishing line. Every time it pulls, the line tightens. The body wants distance. Wings open, claws scrape, the head jerks from side to side. But the problem follows because the problem is attached. Then a human shape appears, huge, upright, too close. The old rule activates immediately. Danger is coming. You move slowly, but the crow does not know slow means careful. You lower your body, but it does not know that means less threat. Your hand reaches forward and every nerve in the bird is prepared for pain. For a moment, help and attack look almost identical. This is the terrible confusion of rescue. The same hand that can free an animal is also the shape a wild brain has every reason to fear. Then the pattern changes. The hand does not crush. It holds only enough to stop the panic from making the injury worse. The fingers move toward the line, not the wing. The pressure on the leg shifts. The pulling stops for half a second. Something tight becomes looser. The crow may not think, "This human is helping me." It may not form anything like gratitude. But the body receives new information. The pain is not increasing. The trap is changing. A final thread slips free. Suddenly the leg moves the way a leg is supposed to move. The crow launches away, loud, angry, alive, probably offended by the entire experience. To you it may look ungrateful. No pause, no thank you. No cinematic eye contact in golden sunlight. But from the animal's side, the important thing has already happened. The huge, frightening creature arrived, and somehow the danger got smaller. Here is the twist. The best kind of help may be the kind the animal does not fully attach to you. That sounds cold, but for a wild animal, trusting humans too easily can become dangerous. If a rescued bird learns that every human hand means safety, food, and comfort, that lesson may help it once and hurt it later. The next hand may not be careful. The next voice may not belong to a rescuer. The next person may not stop the car, cut the line, or call the right number. So kindness toward wild animals has a strange shape. You want the animal to survive the moment, but you do not always want it to leave loving humans. Wildlife rehabilitators understand this deeply. They often reduce talking, hide faces, limit touch, feed from behind barriers, and release animals without making the rescue feel like a friendship. That is not lack of compassion. It is compassion aimed at the animal's future, not at the human need to feel loved back. The deeper twist is that help still becomes data. A crow may remember a face. A dolphin may remember a pattern of movement. A whale may register that pressure disappeared when certain bodies came close. But the most useful lesson is not, humans are good. That would be too simple and sometimes wrong. The useful lesson is narrower. This situation changed. This pressure ended. This specific signal did not mean attack. That makes wild rescue more humble than the stories usually make it. The animal does not owe you gratitude. It does not need to turn around and bless your character. It only needs a chance to leave alive, still wild, still cautious, still belonging to its own world. Sometimes the most successful human kindness is the one that disappears from the animal's life as soon as the danger does. So the next time you stop for an animal in trouble, remember how strange that moment is. To you, it may feel obvious. A turtle should not be left in the road. A bird should not drag plastic around its leg. A trapped animal should not be abandoned because helping is inconvenient. But to the animal, your kindness arrives in the shape of something ancient and frightening, a human body moving closer. That is why real help has to be careful. Slow down, give space. Call trained rescuers when the situation is dangerous. Do not turn a wild animal into a pet because the moment made you feel connected. The goal is not to be remembered as a hero. The goal is to make the danger smaller and let the animal return to its own life with as little extra fear as possible. And maybe that is the modern mirror inside every rescue. The wild has learned to be cautious around humans for good reasons. But sometimes, in one small moment the pattern bends, a hand removes a line, a car stops, a voice stays calm, a body steps back instead of grabbing. The animal may not understand your heart, it may not thank you, it may leave instantly, loudly, and with deep personal suspicion. That is fine. Survival does not need ceremony. What matters is that for a few seconds, the old equation changed. Human did not mean trap, human did not mean pain, human did not mean the danger got worse. It meant the rope loosened, the road cleared, the pressure ended, the body could move again. So maybe some wild animals let humans help because they are not reading goodness as an idea. They are reading it as a pattern. Less pain, more space, freedom returning. And in a world where human-shaped things have so often meant fear, becoming one small exception to that pattern may be one of the quietest kinds of kindness you can offer.